As Barney Stinson would say, new is always better. But is it though? If you're thinking about buying a home, chances are that you've thought about whether you should buy a pre-owned house or a new build. In this video, I'll give you a list of pros and cons for each one of them, and by the end of this, you'll be able to pick up the right one for you. Welcome back, people, for another fantastic video about home ownership. I'm Mathieu, the Ottawa Frenchman, your realtor in Ottawa. Working in real estate, I had the chance to get into all kinds of different homes, whether they're brand new or more than 100 years old. I definitely thought that new was better when I started, but after seeing some of the most incredible remodel in this city, I'm not so sure anymore. To help you make up your mind, I'll walk you through the benefits and drawbacks of both, and if you stay until the very end, I have a very important yet simple tip for you that could save you tens of thousands of dollars. So I suggest that you stay tuned, and on this, let's start the show with pre-owned homes. So pre-owned or resale means that obviously you are not the first owner. But for the video, let's assume that they are older homes, not 2020 homes that were occupied for a year. So I'll give you 5 pros and 6 cons. So pro number 1, old world charm. Nostalgia hits you harder when looking at those properties. They remind us of a simpler time, I guess, but their charm is undeniable. Every house is different, brings its own personality to the street, and makes the whole neighborhood vibrant. Pro 2, larger yard. You might wonder why older properties sit on larger lots. Well, simply because they could, and it was standard back then. Now with new development, you are practically sitting on the street and you're 1 arm length away from touching your back fence. It's practical if you want to borrow some sugar from a neighbor without getting out, but otherwise, it sucks. Again, not all of them, but older homes often offer a more private space. Pro 3, longer term neighbors. This one might seem odd, but having longer term neighbors can tell you a lot about the place you're moving into. Aside from the fact that they bring a lot of knowledge about the neighborhood and the community, it tells you right away how well maintained the neighborhood is. If every other house is falling apart, pride of ownership in the area might not be super high. Also, established neighborhoods usually had time to figure out the logistics of a functioning community. Pro 4, mature vegetation. You might not realize how much this plays into the overall charm of a place, but it does. Taking a walk in a street covered by mature, colorful trees in mid-fall definitely beats walking into a new area with only grass everywhere. In new development, if you want to grow a tree on your lawn, assuming that you have enough space, you have to take care of it a lot more to ensure it can grow strong over time. Also, trees can give you a little more privacy against nosy neighbors. Pro 5, location. Probably the biggest benefit of a resale is that they're often located in a more desirable area, closer to downtown, the shops, the restaurants, the transit, and probably where you work as well. Reason is that the only place left for new build is, well, where there's space left, and that's further away on the outskirts of the city. That's why Orleans, Findlay Creek, and Stittsville are booming right now. That's also why resale can be more expensive, and that leads us into the cons of resale. Cons number 1, cost. Like I said, there's a finite amount of available space in older neighborhoods, and that can drive the price up. Again, it's not always the case. It depends widely on the property itself and the location, but cost of land will most likely be higher. Con number 2, more maintenance. It goes without saying that an older home equals maintenance. People often underestimate the real cost of this, but as a general rule of thumb, I suggest to my clients to put 0.5% to 1% of the value of the home in a separate account each year to offset future costs like roofing, driveway, renovation, etc. Con number 3, older tech. It can be very expensive to replace older technology, and I'm not talking about the phone that still hangs on the wall. Technology has gone a long way since some of these houses were built, and for better energy efficiency and safety, you might have to replace electric components, plumbing, outdated installation materials, etc. As usual, a good home inspection is non-negotiable. Con number 4, size. Size doesn't matter, right? Well, when you get smaller closets, garages, storage spaces, you're bound to notice. Why do those properties have smaller spaces? Reason is simple. People didn't have as much crap before as we do now. Let's face it, half the stuff in your basement is garbage you'll never use again in your life. But we hold on to stuff. So be ready to part ways with some of your stuff if you choose an older home. Con number 5, smaller square footage. Even though the homes are usually sitting on a bigger lot, surprisingly enough, the square footage of that property is smaller than what we use today. And there's way more division and walls in there. Back then, families were bigger and they needed more rooms. If you were the last kid, you were either sharing a room with 3 other kids or you got the broom closet. Con 6, remodel. So this is a pro and con really, because if you buy for a location, you can always remodel a home to your liking if you're ready to pay good money for it. But if you didn't plan on renovation money, you might end up looking at an ugly, outdated kitchen or bathroom until you do unlock the budget to remodel them. Also, some elements like the HVAC system might have to be changed and modernized. Okay, so now that we're done with resale home, let's move on to new builds. New builds come in all shapes and form, and I'll dig deeper in the wide array of options that you have when considering a freshly constructed home in a future video. For now, let's dive into our 7 pros and 6 cons. Pro 1. Maintenance. Where older homes might need more TLC, new builds require little to no maintenance, which means the roof, hot water tank, HVAC, etc. won't be a problem for many years. If you consider the price of a new roof, knowing that you won't have to replace it for 20-25 years is definitely a big plus. Pro number 2, bigger homes. New construction is all about efficiency and profitability, so builders will use every square inch of that property to increase the square footage. What you lose in yard space, you gain in space in your home. Also, the layouts are modern with more open spaces and a better flow throughout the property. Pro number 3, modern layout also means modern conveniences. New builds are adapted to our current way of living. You get more outlets, they're designed for smart home integrations, often offer 1.5 to 2 bathroom standard instead of 1, and much more. Some simple things that make your day-to-day more pleasant. Pro 4, and it's a big one. TARION warranty. The TARION warranty was created by the Government of Ontario in 1976 to administer the Ontario New Home Warranties Plan Act. Its primary purpose is to protect consumers of new home by ensuring that builders abide by the provincial legislations. It's a 7 year warranty that is divided in 3 phases of coverages. I'll link the website so you can look into it in details, but just know that it's an amazing protection for you to have. Okay, pro number 5, energy efficiency. Technology has come a long way, and so did our building material and building method. Now we have better insulation, radiant barrier roofs, better heating, better window, etc. All of this is standard in new home, and aside from comfort, it's also reflected in massive savings in electricity and gas spending. Pro number 6, customization. Customization. Oh, you said customization. Customization. Pro 6, customization. Depending on when during the construction you buy the property, you might be able to customize a lot about the house and get a product that's more to your taste and more personalized. You can also choose better finishes and lots of upgrades. But you should be careful with those because they will destroy your budget. I'll cover this in another video as well. Pro number 7, it's new. That may sound superficial, but come on, how amazing does it feel to buy something new? That feeling of newness and the smell that goes with it. Just knowing that this was built for you and that you're not dealing with someone else's toenail in your carpet is something we can all agree is pretty cool. Okay, and I know you didn't like this example because it was pretty gross. Okay, moving on to the cons. Con number 1, similarity. Yes, builders are trying to offer different elevations for their various model of homes. Variation is essentially the outside finishes, but it still feels pretty much cookie cutter. If you forget the name of your street, good luck, because every house ends up looking the exact same. There are still good looking properties, don't get me wrong, but they don't convey that same charm and uniqueness as older homes. Con number 2, no trees. Like I said, you got 0 vegetation, which doesn't help make the neighborhood feels homey. All you get is grass, and sometimes you might have to stir the patch of dirt for half a year before they do decide to put some grass on. Con number 3, settling. The house has not settled yet, so you might wake up one day with a crack on the side of your house or in a window. Although it's tempting to blame the builder, it's something that every home goes through, unfortunately. There's nothing you can do, but choosing and researching your builder might offset some problems attached to poor construction. Con number 4, new development are located where you have space and lots of it. And that is obviously a little further out. Although amenities usually develop within the community, your work, restaurant, and entertainment might remain distant. That's the price you pay to get something brand new. Con number 5, wait times. Obviously, if your house isn't built yet, it's hard for you to move in. Delays vary greatly depending on the builder, the location, the model itself, and the general demand. The builder will put you on the wait list at this point and reach out to you when it's your turn. If you're pressed for time, the quickest way is often a standing inventory home, but it also means that you won't necessarily be able to customize it the way you want. Con number 6, perfection. Nothing is perfect. Nobody can provide perfection. It's a grueling, emotional process, and we have very high expectations on delivery. But the truth is, there might be some problem with the home at the end. Problems that will be remedied by the builder, but still a headache that most people assume they won't have to deal with considering they're buying something new. For the 3rd time in this video, I'll say this again, inspections are very important for that reason. So reality is, pre-owned and new build have different benefits. The main factor here is to pick the one that fits your lifestyle and priority. If commuting to work makes you want to drive off a cliff, well, maybe being closer to the city in a smaller home would suit you better. If you want a turnkey, brand new, all updated house and you work from home, well, a new build sounds like a better fit for you. Now that we're done with the pros and cons, I promised you a bonus trick. It's a very simple one. Hire an agent. People understand why a real estate agent is important when buying resale, but funny enough, they will walk into a sales center without one. The sales rep at the sales center are working for the builders and the builders only. They have every incentive to upsell you and get you to buy into all the fancy options. An agent, even with new builds, is able to negotiate on your behalf and protect your best interest. Also, hiring the right agent that will educate you on the process and assist you in choosing what is best for you is a big factor in a successful transaction. Some builder would even prevent you from being represented if you walk into the sales office unrepresented the first time around. So the first step in your search is reaching out for an agent. Aside from protecting your best interest, like I said, an agent will be able to inform you on which builders are good and which you should avoid. Buying a house is thrilling and yet so scary. It is the single biggest purchase of our life. I make those videos to offset some of that fear and give you the confidence and the tools to face that big transaction. It is my pleasure to help you reach your home goals, and if you want to help me back, simply follow this channel and hit the bell. That way I know that my content is helpful for you guys and you'll get notified when I put out a new video. I have way more video you might like on my channel and they will appear over my face any second. Just pick one, it's all pretty good stuff. Thank you for watching. Stay classy, Ottawa.